Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. Is your favorite hotel revenue master magician, Bruce Jordan. You're tuning to another episode of Hotel Revenue Magic. Now, I just wanted to do this one real quick because I've been in this situation a million times, and I know everybody else has been in situation time a million times, and I learned a couple of things along the way as far as hiring employees, what I should be looking for, just some of the things to do during the interview process that to spot a bad one and at least keep you from hiring the worst one. Okay, so these are some of the things that I do during interview process. The first thing I do is all the how you go through your questions about experience and questions about where the person came from and how was it at the hotel and what they have experienced in and what's their weak points, strong points, and all those crazy questions. Yeah, I don't do those questions in the beginning of the interview. And this is why. I used to do that, and man, I was fooled so many times. It's not even funny. I would look at these people's resumes, and it'll look like it was written by God Himself, and I would, and they interview very well. So I'm like, okay, they interview really well. I'm gonna hire them. As soon as I put them into action, I don't know who this person was. Like, I'm like, this resume and the performance that I'm getting does not match at all. So what I start doing instead is that before I even get into the interview process, I put them to work. You're like, what do you mean put them to work? Yeah, just what I said. I put them to work. If I'm hiring a front desk agent, the first thing I have them do is a bucket check. Okay, if you work the front desk, then you know how to do a bucket check. Let me bring to the front desk, give you the reports that you need, and do the bucket check. All right. If you work at the front desk, you know how to assign rooms. I will give them a list of rooms and the room types, and I give them a list of a guests that want that room type. I will have them assign the rooms right on paper, right in front of me. Okay. I will take them to the front desk while they do the bucket check, and I tell them answer the phone like this. I give them the phone, see how they answer the phone, see how they talk to the guests. Now, if the person does not have an experience, that's different. But if these people are saying who they say they are, they should be able to snap, salute, command, and rock right then and there, right in front of me. If you bring me to any hotel, if I'm telling you I'm the general manager, you bring me to any hotel, I'm able to do whatever I do right then and there. I don't care what system you have because I know the principles behind what's going on. I remember went to a hotel. They had paid me, hotel. I don't make any money off of you guys know I sell text messaging software. I don't make any money off of selling text messaging software. I mean, my prices are like rock bottom. The reason why I do it because I know that these are the tools that I work for me because I built them. I built them while I was working at a hotel because I wasn't satisfied with the results that I was getting, and then I knew I could do better. So when someone hires me and pays me $10, $15, $20,000 to do sales training or do marketing training, for the employees and their property. And when I say sales training, I mean front desk sales training. And they see the numbers increasing right in front of their face. They have the same amount of reservations or less, and the money is 10, 15, 20% more than what they was making, last week or last month or last year. They know that I'm the real deal. Okay, so if you can't perform, it has nothing to do with your resume. It's you. You're lying to me. All right. So that's one thing. I just want to make sure you understand. If they can't perform right on the spot, if I got the best actor in here and I told him to act like a homeless person, Keanu Reeves is going to act like a homeless person because he's an actor. He's a professional. Okay. Now, housekeepers, when I hire housekeepers, housekeeping is like, housekeeping is the biggest pain in my butt sometimes because I have very high standards when it comes to housekeeping, and I wouldn't ask someone to do something I wouldn't do when it comes to housekeeping. I remember it was COVID-19, and I had these crazy guests. They completely trashed the whole room. There was blood everywhere. They destroyed the TV. There was beer bottles everywhere, glass everywhere. It was just ridiculous. And due to the fact that it was COVID-19, I let the room sit for 7 days, and I told the housekeeping staff, do not touch the room. I will clean the room myself because I didn't want anyone saying that they got cut or they got injured or they slipped on glass and fell on glass, or they got COVID. These worker compensation claims. They get a little out of hand. I don't want none of that. So I end up cleaning this trash hotel room myself, just to avoid all those problems. And the amount of respect that I got from the housekeeping staff was endless, because I will go to the front lines first. That's what's wrong with these politicians and these presidents. The difference between a George Washington or Napoleon or Shaka Zulu is that they was at the front lines taking the shots and taking the bullets. They wasn't like inside the Oval Office barking orders saying we're going to go to war. No, they're like, when we go to war, we're going to war. All of us are going to war. So it's the same way when you are a leader. Leaders lead by example. So when you're telling someone to do something that you wouldn't do, you become suspect and they look at you differently with no respect. So when I'm hiring a housekeeper, I'm not asking her any history questions first. The first thing I'm doing is I take her to the room and I say, inspect this room and identify all the housekeeping issues. Now, I already inspected the room, so I already know all the housekeeping issues. And if they can't identify the housekeeping issues, that means more than likely they're suspect. And this is why, even as a housekeeper, you know that an inspector is coming in behind you. Okay? When an inspector comes in behind you, there's certain inspectors look for specific things. Other inspectors look for everything. So most housekeepers know their inspectors, so they know the areas that those inspectors are going to look at because they done brought them back to the room for before. And so they know that there's certain areas of the room that they know they have to be clean as hell, or their housekeeper inspector is going to bring them back. So they should be able to identify those things, unless they work for a sorry-ass inspector or a sorry-ass director of housekeeping. But that's another story. Maintenance. When I'm hiring maintenance people, I bring them inside of a room, identify all the maintenance issues in this room. I've already identified them before I brought them in. Okay? If they can't, I swear, I'll never forget this story. I had this one guy, my maintenance guy, had a friend that needed a job. He's telling the guy, like, oh yeah, you're gonna get the job, it's gonna happen. And the guy's telling me, oh, this guy is great at maintenance, so on and so forth. So I just happen to be doing maintenance inspections. I would do like an inventory audit like every week. I go room to room, make sure my inventory match. And as I'm doing my audit, I'm writing down maintenance issues and housekeeping issues that I see. So I just be happy to do this audit, and this guy comes in. I'm like, yeah, come on in. Identify all the maintenance issues in this room. Now he's telling me he's great at maintenance. The guy that does maintenance, he's like a maintenance supervisor, which is his friend, telling me he's great at maintenance. I bring him in the room. He couldn't identify one maintenance issue. There was lights out. There was sockets missing. There was serious maintenance issues that was there. He couldn't identify one. The tubs need to be recaulked. One of the stems need to be changed. The diverter needed to be changed. He didn't identify any of them. It was leaking. The sink was leaking. He didn't identify nothing. So ever since then, as far as like the interview questions and all that other stuff, I save that for the back. I want to make sure they can do the job first. Now, when I'm hiring a housekeeping manager, I have her prepare boards right in front of me. I give her a list of dirty rooms. I give her a list of housekeepers, and I say, make these boards right in front of me. You know how many times they couldn't even make a board? They're so-called housekeeping managers. They wasn't housekeeping managers. They was just regular housekeepers that thought they can be a manager and said, I'm going to apply for this position. Couldn't make a board. Couldn't make a board. I take them to the room, inspect this room. Couldn't inspect one housekeeping issue. Couldn't find one. Do you see where I'm going here? You have to make them show and prove. There's no coming in for a meeting, reading some interview questions, trying to figure out their personality. No, forget all of that. They can't do the job. They can't do the job. Front desk manager, the same thing. I ask her about the OTA websites. Go into this section of OTA website. Go into that section of OTA website. I ask them about chargebacks. I ask them about auditing numbers, seeing words. I ask them about postings. Different types of posting codes. Now bring them to the front desk. Show me how to post this. This is the scenario. What would you do in this scenario? Answer the phone. Whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like all the things that a front desk manager do, they do that day on the interview before I even ask any interview questions. Most sales manager, most importantly, I mean, I don't care about none of the contract stuff. Anyone can do that. Sales managers, I give them a list of cold calls right there. Make these cold calls. Let me see you make these cold calls. Here's a list. Let me see how you do. They can't make a cold call. Then they're not going to be the right salesperson for you, because they're going to be the person that's used to getting the call instead of making the call. That's the last thing you want in a sales manager, especially in this pandemic right now. You're not getting the corporate business that you used to get. Forget all of that. A lot of the business that you have to get, you're going to have to go out and get. You're going to have to go out and build the relationships to get the deals and get the contracts. Now, with when I'm hiring a revenue manager, the first thing I do, I never hire a revenue manager unless they know the market. That has bit me in the butt so many times it's not even funny. I don't care if they're Wyndham corporate, because that happened to me one time. I hired Wyndham's corporate staff they're based in New Jersey. I'm in Florida. Now I'm from New Jersey, but I'm in Florida. I could tell them, he could tell me the New Jersey market. He couldn't tell me the Florida market. They're just looking at numbers and screens. They don't know anything about any annual events. There's a festival that happens down here every single year. He didn't know anything about it. They don't know anything about, the local community, how the locals work, so he didn't know how to pace, he didn't know how to train, he had nothing. He just basically took, just based everything up my market segment and price match. Like that's the only thing he did. I'm like, I don't need you for that. I can do that. I need someone that has strategy. Down here, especially in the market I'm in, you have to be an amazing strategist. Because there's just so much going on, and it gets to the point where you have to know the area and what's going on in the area and see how it's pacing. There's a lot of times that I couldn't deal with the system that I had, at that time, because their system that I was using at, this particular time, and my last property was designed for, it was designed for like Airbnb type. It was like it wasn't designed for hotels. It was designed for vacation rentals. I don't know what genius will pick a vacation rental system for a hotel, and it was 10 times the price of any other hotel system. Like, whew, that company was laughing all the way to the bank. But I couldn't do anything. So like in most systems, I'm able to have the system automatically increase my price by 5%, 10%. Based on my occupancy. So when I get to 70%, I automatically increase the price to $5, $10. When I get to 75%, the system automatically increase the price another $5, $10. So I'm not losing any revenue in my market. I'm not losing the revenue as my reservations escalate. So this, when you hire people outside of your market, they don't know what the hell's going on. They don't know what's going on with the hotel down the street, that they're in the middle of renovation, the guests complaining about the noise, so on and so forth. So you can adjust your rates, you can adjust your marketing to get those guests. They don't know about any of the construction that's going on in the area, so you can adjust, you adjust your marketing and adjust your rate to get those guests. They don't know because they're outside of your market. So revenue managers, I put pace reports right in front of them, and I say, do this forecast for me. Like, knock out this forecast for me right in front of me. What do you think? What do you think will be the best pricing for this month? And I give them a little history and some more reports and stuff like that, so I can see what they can do. There's a difference between someone telling you what they can do and showing you what they can do. Remember, there was an accountant. They hired an accountant. All of these people are geniuses, by the way, just to let you know. Hired an accountant. They hired an accountant, and I started off in the accounting department in hotels. It was later on that I learned the operational side. And, I started off in the accounting department. So when I'm looking at the numbers, I can look at your numbers and say, hey, this doesn't make any sense. You got to watch out here. But this person comes in, no hotel experience, but she's a genius. And guess what? Usually I just glance at the P&L because listen, if you say you know what you're doing, I'm going to take a little glance and I'm going to keep it moving because I got so much going on. Something just told me to stop and look. I looked at these numbers. I said, what in the hell is this? Oh, hell no. You done lost your mind. Like, who taught you how to do this? Hotel accounting is very, 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 very different from regular accounting. Okay? Do not do that. If they don't have hotel accounting experience, are willing to learn hotel accounting for someone that does have the experience, do not hire them. They don't know what they're doing. They're thinking like it's just another restaurant or something like that. Or they think it's just another gym. Like, oh, accounting is accounting. No, hotel accounting is not regular accounting. There's different things that you have to know what you're looking for in the reports, in the adjustments, in the revenue, in the chargebacks. I had accountants that will just write off the whole chargeback instead of reversing the revenue so that you don't have to pay the sales tax and so that you don't have to pay the franchise fees and everything else that goes along with it. You have to know what you're doing. Okay, so it was just now this is my final test. No matter what department I'm hiring for, I always do this one test. I take 2 spray bottles, 2 towels. I go into a room. I set up, someone, I think a housekeeper missed a couple of things. I'm just going to go ahead and knock this out real quick. I put the 2 spray bottles on the desk, the 2 towels on the desk. I take a bottle and a towel, and I start spraying and wiping areas inside of the room down. If that person just sits there and look at you work and does not grab that other spray bottle and that other spray and that other towel and help you out, 9 times out of 10, you have a person that it's not my job person. And that's the last thing you want in the hotel industry, because we wear so many hats. I can go from general manager to front desk to sales to housekeeping, from housekeeping to house. We wear so many hats because at the end of the day, something happens. We got to get the job done. And if you got a person that says it's not my job, I don't get paid for that, that's just going to be a disaster. You're not going to get any hustle. I need someone that has hustle in them. I will take hustle over education any day, because if you have education, the only thing you're telling me is that you can pass a test. It doesn't tell me that you can actually execute on what you actually learned. So hustle will always win over education. In my eyes, you may think something different. But in this business, you have to have hustle, because you have to make it happen, because your housekeeper's not being there, your maintenance guy not being there, the roof leaking, or some hurricane's coming, or whatever the case may be, the guest is going to see the elevator's not working. That's my favorite. One time I replaced 3 circulation pumps in 1 year. Guess what? Do you think the guest cared? No, that's not my problem. Here's your bad review. Take it and go. Here's your bad review. Take it and go. So it's not going to be, when you don't have the staff that you need and we're going to have to step up or step out, you want someone that hustles. You don't want anyone that's just going to say it's not my job. Oh, well, let's just let the whole property fall apart. Now, of course, everybody wants to hire smart people. There was one guy was bragging to me, oh, this guy is so smart. In the interview process, we were talking about, he was explaining the Einstein's theory of relativity. And I'm looking at this dude like, did Einstein have to check in the guest? Like, did Einstein get keys thrown in his face? Did Einstein have to clean a room? What good is Einstein's theory of relativity going to do me in the hotel business? There's nothing wrong with smart people as long as they can make money. I like smart people that know how to make money, that know how to take care of the things that I need to get taken care of. I was actually corporate at a very young age, and it was always the smartest person that couldn't catch anything. And it was I forgot what movie that was. It would be like the dumbest person in the room, like say, well, what about this and this and this and this and this and this, or at least the smart people who think is a dumber person in the room. They're probably more likely hiding their intelligence from the smart people. But it'd be them that says, well, what about this and this and this and this and this? Can't we do this instead of this? That actually solves the problem. anyone who's worked in corporate or did corporate or anything like that, most especially in the corporate office, when I was there, half of those people never even worked in a hotel. Like, they had no hotel experience. I remember they brought in a guy from Ford Motor Company. Like, what the hell is this dude gonna do, man? Like, Ford Motor Company? Like, are we gonna have a drive-through hotel room where, you know, we got some, you know, some Fords just parking, driving up? Are we redoing the hotel? Like, what's going on? What is this guy gonna do? If you haven't figured out that you can't depend on your franchise by now, you're in trouble. We have to take matters into our own hands to be able to, you know, succeed and get our own success. This is why I do videos like this, is because I have so much knowledge after doing this for so long. And in this, where we're at in this state, it doesn't make any sense for me to just hold on to it when I can, with the knowledge that I have, can actually save someone. Because you're not going to get it from the corporate office. I don't know. I never seen ISG's YouTube channel. I never seen, you know, ISG Facebook page sharing information like this. Because you know why? Because those people up there never been through what we've been through. Those people up there, when was the last time you think the CEO of Wyndham or the CEO of Marriott or the CEO of Hilton or ISG got keys thrown in their face at their front desk? Had a whole housekeeping staff walk out on them. Had terrible maintenance guys. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't dealt with stuff like that in so long. Like, how the hell are they gonna help you? I mean, that's just being realistic, and there's just so many politics going on up there that nine times out of 10, it's not going to benefit the owner. It's not going to benefit the manager. All we have is ourselves. Let's get together, share our knowledge, share our tools, so we can protect each other. Thank you again for tuning up to another episode of Hotel Revenue Management. Let me know what you think about this video. What I want you to do, I want you to share some of your hiring tips. You already know mine. I put them to work first before I have them do anything else. Before we even sit down and talk about the resume, they're going to show me that they can do the job before I hire them and put them through payroll and have to issue out a W-2 for one day and go through all that other craziness. So thank you again for tuning in, and I'll be talking to you soon, making your revenues rise up once again.